What is up, my fellow Chiebits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly Tokyo Ghoul Re manga chapter review, this time on chapter 116. Now, before I get into diving into the individual panels, discussing the different things going on, there's a couple of things I need to clarify before I dive into this chapter. Number one, I fucking called it about Uta. Okay? I just want to say that right now. Number two, I made a mistake last week, and I want to correct that because I am human, and I do make mistakes, and I do want to make sure that everybody's aware I did make a mistake, because if you were unaware that I made a mistake, I want you to know too, because there was some things I actually messed up on in my last Tokyo Ghoul Re review I did. So you remember when I said that Matsuri was, like, in the control room or whatever? Well, somehow, I went complete brain dead, and I forgot that he was outside, which you see right here at the start of this chapter. You see he's outside. But I went complete brain dead and forgot he wasn't in the control room. He was with a couple of CCG agents. He was facing Nico and all that. So, for some reason, in my mind last week, I was thinking that Matsuri was seeing Nico on, like, a monitor or something, and that's what I was thinking. So, I went complete brain dead. I made a mistake last week, so I just want to say, please forgive me for that. Anyways, another thing I want to clarify is that with this review of Tokyo Ghoul, I'm going to say that I'm going to be looking at both translations of Tokyo Ghoul Re Chapter 116, because there is a lot of differences between the translations that came out. The earlier translation that came out around like 2:30 a.m. this morning, and then the translation that came out like a couple hours later from Jamin's Box, or whatever it's called. Like, I can't pronounce the name, but there's two translation groups, MS and Jamin's Box, and the translations are completely different. Like, they're really fucking different. Some of the key scenes of this chapter, the way it's worded, there's just two different meanings to it. And so I kind of want to cover both, because overall, I don't know which, translation I could say is the legit one and which one is not the right meaning. So I really don't know. So I'm going to go through both sides of the translation to kind of cover what it might mean, because maybe you read MS's translation but you didn't read the other translation, or you read the other translation, not MS's. Well, I just want to clarify both sides so everybody's aware of what is happening here if you have a different translation or a different meaning. Because like I said, with looking at both translations and going over them and all that, there is some serious differences that might change your viewpoint on the chapter. So, anyways, just making sure everybody's aware. So if you're wondering if I'm talking about something that you didn't see with your translation, it's because it's from the other translation. So there you go, FYI. So anyways, first things first, you don't really get to see much translation differences until around like page 5 or 6, so I'm going to mainly just cover it through the MS translation for now. So the chapter fucking starts off with Matsuri's fucking head getting cleaved, like, oh my fucking god, like, meanwhile, Matsukorn is in mortal peril. Oh shit, dude. But, fucking Matsuri, this man's face has completely changed from last week's chapter, because last week his face was like, everything is fine, and in this chapter he's like, why do I have a tingling sensation in the fucking head now? And you just see how his eye turns around, and he looks at the V member. And so he realizes what's happening here. Like, he's just been fucking stabbed, or I guess sliced in the middle of the head, and it's going down. And he's trying to realize what the fuck is happening here, because he's like, what? Like, he doesn't know what's going on. Now, as I said with my last review of Tokyo Ghoul Re, I knew Matsuri was going to be fine in terms of his head getting sliced open, because we've seen some crazy shit from ghouls, and because, like I've said many times already, RC cells pretty much are fucking, like, extreme super stem cells. It's kind of obvious that Matsuri wouldn't die from his head just getting kind of sliced open a little bit. We've seen some crazy shit already, so that's not enough to kill the man. I wasn't kind of fearful of him dying then, but we know what happens later in a couple of pages, which I'll get into that very soon. So Matsuri's like, what the fuck's going on? He's trying to assess the situation, like, what just happened to him. And then all of a sudden, he quickly realizes, he's like, the mystery, the answer, V. Just very simple thought process going on. And I'm assuming the reason why this thought process is so simple, why he says mystery, answer, V, and all that, is probably because his brain has been cleaved in two. You remember when Kaneki got his eyes stabbed out and all that by Arima, and he was making some jumbled up words and shit? I'm assuming because his brain was just opened up, it was just like opened up like a fucking can, that he just started thinking very simple thoughts. He's like, mystery, Answer, V. But that's very impressive when you think about it, how he was able to piece all of this together while his head was legit split the fuck open. So while this was done, he got his head, like, out of it. Like, he pushed the, like, sword out, and then he grabbed it and all that while he pulled it out. Like, you see how he puts his hands back, he pulls it out, and then he's holding it, and then he slings over the V agent over his back, over his head and all that, in front of him, and while he lands, he cuts his head open. So if anyone was unaware of what happened in that scene, Matsuri grabbed the sword, pulled it out because it was just a slice. It wasn't a stab, it was a slice down the head. He pulled it up, and then he slung the man over his head. So that's to explain that situation. So Matsuri proving he's a very, very quick thinker. Like, we already knew this man is powerful. He's been built up for a very long time. And just that scene alone just shows how crazy Matsuri is. To be able to think in that situation while his head was legit split the fuck open. So, impressive, enough said. That's very impressive. But also, to be able to overpower a V agent like that, that also is very impressive. He cut this man down like he was fucking nothing. Now, as soon as that is done, once this V agent is dead, obviously everybody's looking at Matsuri. He's the center of attention. You see all sides looking at him. You see some V agents, you see CCG, and you see clowns all around him, and everybody's just looking at him like, what the fuck just happened? Like, obviously, the clowns, if they're not, you know, humans, they're probably aware of this fact because, you know, they're working for Furuta under orders and stuff like that. But overall, the CCG agents, they're like, what the shit just happened? Like, those are V agents, they're supposed to be on our side, why did you just attack them? And on top of that, didn't your forehead just get sliced open? How are you alive? And then the V agents, obviously, they're there to assassinate this man. So, when you look at it all like this, it's a very complicated situation for Matsuri. Like, right now, he's in the middle of enemies. Everybody's an enemy around him right now. No one is his ally. So, he's up against every single person in his viewpoint. Everyone now needs to fucking die, because if word gets out he's a ghoul, Washu's a ghoul, obviously GG. That is fucked. So automatically, once he pieces this together, he's like, V. And then Nico's like, brutish, aren't we? And then clowns, CCG. He's just thinking this in his mind. V, clowns, CCG. And then he's like, shit. And then he's like, love is blind. He just starts, like, thinking in his mind as he starts to attack. He's like, love is blind, and so am I. Or so I am. Unafraid, invincible. And as he's attacking and he's cutting down V agents, CCG, and clowns, he's like, losing here and never seeing you again, that is far more terrifying. So, what is Matsuri talking about in this scene? My only assumption when he says that losing here and never seeing you again, I'm assuming he's thinking of Urei. As I've already said many times, now that we know the true trait of Matsuri, how he has a fame for Urei, he loves him, it's kind of obvious now that this man straight up, like, when he's talking about this, he's, like, speaking all in his mind, he's thinking of Urei. He's like, it would be tragic, it would be bad if I never got to see your face again. So, he's going all out while cutting all these, you know, agents up, CCG, V agents, and clowns, just for Urei. This man is madly in fucking love. Like, holy shit, Ashita. So, the way he's doing this character. So, I don't know if anyone noticed or not, but while he was attacking them, Matsuri's clothes ripped off. Like, I don't know how many noticed this, but his entire shirt ripped the fuck off when he was in the middle of fighting. You could actually see the ripping of his shirt on page 5 on the top. You see the ripping of the shirt coming off of him while he is in mid-fighting. And you see it because I'm assuming he's expanding his fucking muscles out and just his shirt's, you know, just flying off. Now, while he's still thinking about Urei, he's like, why does my passion flare so after a fight? And then you just see how he's starting to cough or whatever. So, that's very strange. You know, Matsuri is coughing. I really don't know what to make out about that. I'm assuming it's because, you know, he hasn't fought in a while. Maybe he's rusty or something. But he is definitely coughing in that scene, which might explain what happened after this page with, you know, him being cut up into fucking ribbons. So, yeah. He's coughing. So, I don't know if that's meaning that he's sick, not fit anymore, hasn't been eating. I don't fucking know. But, like I said, for Ashita to put something like that in after he's done killing all of these agents and then he starts coughing, I'm assuming that has a part to play. Definitely for why Matsuri lost this fight. Anyways, though, a dude walks up. Once again, Ashita's signature, you know, foot, you know, panel to where someone's just coming in and you see how a foot, you know, just walks down. Like, you see how it's the center of focus of a panel. Ishida constantly does this. When, like, an important scene's happening, there's always a character walking towards you, and you just see just a picture of a shoe or a foot or whatever just coming in, and once again, we have that. It's just a display of a presence coming in. So, Matsuri's like, here he is. And then he says, so I guess Furuta really was the one pulling the trigger on all of this, wasn't he? So, Matsuri's able to figure all this out. He's analyzing the situation. He's like, Kaiko. And then Kaiko answers him and says, the Washu bloodline is a thorn in our sides. Die, Matsuri. And then Matsuri replies, don't write me off just yet. If I am faced with a battlefield, I will just cut my way through. And then after that, Ishida does his own little thing. It's just like, oh my god, savage. Soon after, Matsuri was cut to ribbons. Like, Jesus, like Ishida. Like Ishida, like Ishida. Like Ishida. Ishida, that is savage, right? That is fucking savage. So first things first, let's talk about what Kaiko said, this V agent, which is a very, very strong V agent, and definitely is someone you don't want to underestimate because of what we've gotten so far from his character. So this character, Kaiko, says the Washu's blood is in the way. And he's like, die, Matsuri. And then Matsuri's like, don't underestimate me. So from what we see here is, V right now, they want to exterminate the Washu bloodline. Which, this goes along with what we've already seen so far with the other Washus that have been killed. Very big figures of, you know, CCG, or of Tokyo Ghoul's universe. The Washu clan is slowly being wiped out. We do know about the Branch family and all of that, Furuta and stuff, but overall, the main Washu bloodline is being completely killed off. And apparently, like Kaiko says, the Washu blood is in the way. And I'm kind of curious exactly why he is saying this. Why is Kaiko saying this? Because as we know, the Washus are V, but also V is, like I said many times already, it's the Illuminati. So what are they trying to gain by killing off the Washus? Is it because the Washus no longer really have the same goal as what V wants, and that is why they're completely trying to axe them or get rid of them? That's what I'm assuming, because we gotta factor in what Furuta wants. Apparently, Furuta's goal and V's goal are very similar. They're on the same page, and so that is why they're helping each other out for, like, some form of peace, super peace, or whatever it is. We don't really know exactly what they want. Like, we don't really know the true endgame. Regardless, though, V and Furuta, they have a similar goal. But it's very strange how, once again, Kaiko states the Washu blood is in the way, when we know Furuta, even though he's kind of like a half-breed, now he's from the Branch family, overall, though, he still has Washu blood in him. So it's very strange how they don't want him to die, but they want Matsuri to die. So I'm assuming, like I already said, it's because the Washu clan, they no longer probably have the same goal, like the same goal as what V wants. And so that's why they're just, you know, slitting their throat, getting rid of them right now. They don't care. It's because they just don't have their goals aligned with each other anymore, and they have no further use to V, so they're just getting rid of them. And that's why Matsuri and everyone else is just completely getting axed and killed off, because there's just no point anymore to have them around. Now, besides that, let's, you know, talk about this scene with Matsuri. So, Matsuri, okay, let's just talk about the funny part first. Matsuri freaking breaks all his clothes in this scene. He's like, if it is a battlefield, I could just cut my way through and all that. And you just see this man just completely disintegrating his clothing. All his clothing rips off, even his pants completely rip off. This man is straight up fucking nude, okay? This man went pure nude. He's doing a JoJo pose. Like, he is legit doing a Pillarman JoJo pose from part 2. I'm like, yo, Ishida, like, what the fuck? Like, this man just ripping his clothes just to show and he's going savage mode. Regardless, though, let's look at the translation. This is when the translations start to vary in the chapter. So let's read MS's translation, and then I will go to the other translation. So this is the translation of what Matsuri said. If I am faced with a battlefield, I will just cut my way through. And then right after that, soon after, Matsuri was cut to ribbons. That is the MS translation. Now let me read the other one. The other translation is, if it's a battlefield, I can just cut my way through. Very similar, but the next one really changes the meaning. After this, Matsuri was brutally cut down. Now, you can assume from both of these, they are kind of similar, which they are. You know, Matsuri was cut to ribbons, and then another one brutally cut down. And both overall, they kind of have a similar result, but the way the one is worded where he was cut to ribbons, you could assume because he was cut to ribbons, it doesn't necessarily mean he is dead. Like, he could possibly be alive, because even though he was cut to ribbons, we have seen ghouls regenerate like fucking crazy. So there is a possibility maybe the man was able to stay alive. Even though he was cut to fucking ribbons, somehow he might be alive. We don't know. But when you go to this other translation with how Matsuri was brutally cut down, that pretty much lets us know that the man is dead as fuck. So, like I said, the translations kind of vary right here with the way this is worded, and like I said, it really depends on which one you think is accurate or not. And since I can't personally read Japanese, kanji, and all that, I don't really know which one is the accurate one, and some of you smarter Chibits out there most likely can actually find this out, but for me looking at these two translations, I really don't know. Personally, I prefer the MS translation on this scene with cutting to ribbons, because it just sounds more symbolic. It sounds like something Ashita would do, and I just like the way it's worded. Soon after Matsuri is cut to ribbons, I just like the way that was worded. I know brutally cut down is pretty cool too, but I just like cut to ribbons. I like that. It suits Ashita's style of writing from what I've seen so far, and I personally prefer that. So next page. Next page, we move over into another big difference between the translations. Let me get this other page on board, too. Okay, so this next part focuses on Marade. Marade, I'm glad to have my boy back. I'm glad to have Marade back in the series. I know he's going to be very important for Organization GOAT. He's going to be very important for the end game of this series, because this man knows the truth, and he is on the run. V probably wants to kill this man. Like, they just want to completely slit this man's throat, get this man the fuck out of there. And so he's having to stay low. There's a lot of theories right now going around throughout the entirety of the Tokyo Ghoul fandom that Marade is working with Hide possibly, because there is a lot of theories Hide is not dead, because there's a lot with his character. Hide might be working with Marade. We know he's definitely working with the person that he kind of recruited into CCG, but on top of that, many are saying he's possibly working with Scarecrow, so there's just a lot of things here about Marade's character that can just go into any different direction. However, Marade is in this chapter, and only for a very quick scene. He's sitting here watching with like a little spyglass. He is watching Matsuri's fight with V, CCG, and Cloud, and this is what he says in the MS translation. Now, like I said, the translation here with Marade is very different between MS and then Jamin's box, whatever, how you pronounce that. So, let's go into this. So, MS first. I definitely could have done without seeing that grotesque display, but if I knew things were going to turn out like this, it'd have been far better if he were that one to succeed as a leader. So he's pretty much saying, like, if I would have knew things would have turned out like this, okay, Matsuri getting his ass beat, cut down and shit by everybody, V and everything, and Furuta ending up like he is, he's like, maybe it would have been far better if he did become the leader. Matsuri was the leader of CCG instead of what Furuta is doing right now. So Marade's like saying, maybe he was the better man to choose instead of what we have going on right now. But there's nothing you can do. That's kind of what this means right now in MS's translation. So let's go to the other one. So this other translation completely changes what was just said. Looks like I just witnessed something gruesome. In any case, if he knew about this all along, if something like this was going to happen, it might have been better off if he were the successor. So, like I said, the way this was done, it's worded so differently, because the one on MS, honestly, it sounds very confusing, the way it goes about it, trying to explain that. And the way the other one does, it just rolls off better. You're able to understand it more clearer and understand what is going on here with the writing. It's like simplifying what the message is. And I personally think that this one right here, the other translation, is a hell of a lot better than the MS translation, because of the way this was just explained here. How, you know, Matsuri would have been a better successor to be the, you know, the ruler of CCG or whatever than, you know, the actual king, instead of what, you know, Furuta currently is. So like I said, I truly like this translation way over the other one. Now, anyways, we get the chapter title, A Dream Someday. I don't really know what the, you know, chapter title meaning is. I didn't really look too far into it. Most likely some of you Chibits might know, so if you're willing to go the extra mile, just let me know in the comments below. So, right after that, we move into a very simple scene, which both translations are very similar in this regard. You have it to where we move over to what's going on with Hisao and all that, and going on with Psycho, and we're just seeing how pretty much Hisao's helping out Higi and all that, making sure he is fine. Hisao's like, hey, stop worrying about others and all that. You need to worry about your own body, silly. You know, you're in a lot of pain. Just worry about yourself. But Saiko apparently went back to the front lines to start fighting, so just absolutely crazy. Saiko automatically already going out there to fight, while Hisao and Higi are just sitting back. And also Urei too, he's recovering after, you know, he went, you know, Kakuja mode. So, once this page is done, we go over into Urei. Man's laying down. He wakes up. He's thinking of Mutsuki and Saiko. And he's like, what is this feeling? And I feel like what this is Urei actually has this feeling growing inside of him to where he's like understanding how both of these two, how much they really mean to him, how Saiko's trying to help him out, and also how much he cares about Mutsuki as well, how much these two people in his life really mean, and that's why he says, what is this feeling? He's very conflicted right now with what he is feeling within himself, in his heart. So, once all that is done, we move over to the Mutsuki scene, which... Okay, so apparently there was a time skip here. There clearly was a time skip in this scene, and so we don't really know what happened between Mutsuki having sex with the body to what is happening here, because, like I said, Mutsuki clearly was having fucking sex with the body. There was squiggly lines and everything to just emphasize the humping fucking motion, okay? If you can't see that, I don't know what to say to you. But in this apparent time skip, Mutsuki has pants on, apparently, like, no shirt at all, and you see the actual, like, clothing, like, Aura just gave her something to cover up with, and Aura's like, I didn't see a thing. Now, that's probably what I assumed was going to be said. As I already stated in the last time Aura popped up, I was like, this man's going to die. Like, either he's going to die, he's going to just walk off and say he didn't see shit, or he's just going to say, I didn't see shit, what's going on? And that's kind of what's going on here. Aura's like, I didn't see a thing. I didn't see what you just did. I didn't see you just, you know, rape a dead body or whatever. You know, nothing's really said. And if you look closely at the actual, you know, the frame out, when you see everything zoom out with Mutsuki walking towards Aura, you don't see the body or anything on the ground. From my understanding, I don't see anything on the ground. So like I said, this kind of confirms the little brief time skip between the last scene with Mutsuki and the body and then this right here. So we don't know what happened to the body. We don't know if Mutsuki threw it into the water or something. We don't know if Mutsuki ate it. We have no fucking idea what really happened. Overall, though, it seemed like Aura came up to it, and then eventually, once Mutsuki was probably done with whatever she was doing, he probably put that on her to cover her up, and then she's walking over and talking to him. That's what I'm assuming. So, something happened in between. We don't really know, but apparently Aura's like, I didn't see nothing. He's keeping Mutsuki's secret for her. So, let's talk about this scene now. So, this scene, okay, once again, another big difference between the translations. It's probably one of the bigger differences of the translations. So let's read MS, and then I'll go to the other one. So MS, as long as I can kill him, I don't care. This is what Aura is saying. As long as I can kill him, I don't care. Haise Sasaki, I mean. And then Mutsuki replies, Aura, why don't we go kill him together? Now, at first you're like, probably thinking, why would Aura want to kill Haise Sasaki? And in all honesty, many might not understand this or not even think about this, but the reason why Aura would want to kill Haise Sasaki is because of his aunt. As you remember, his aunt was hurt. Even though she was fine, she's in the hospital or whatever, she's out of commission, Kaneki still hurt Aura's aunt. So when you factor all of this in, obviously that's probably why he would want to kill Haise Sasaki. It's because his aunt got injured. That's his motive for wanting to help out Mutsuki. Now, besides that, let's go to the other translation, which changes the meaning of that scene, and it makes you think, like, okay, so, which is the proper one? So, all of a sudden, Aura, in this exact same scene, this is what he says in the other one, I'm fine with it if you kill Sasaki Haise. Aura-kun, then let's go kill. And then question mark. So, I personally prefer this second translation over the other one. Let me kind of explain my viewpoint, okay? So, with the MS translation, Aura is like, I don't care, I didn't see anything, as long as I get to kill him. I get to kill Haise Sasaki. And then Mutsuki's like, Aura, why don't we just go kill him together? And in all honesty, this doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of just like the way Mutsuki's been acting in the last couple chapters. And then when you go to this one, when Aura's like, I'm fine with it if you kill Haise Sasaki. It's like Aura saying, I don't really want to kill him, but I'm fine with it if you want to kill him. And then he's pretty much just joining Mutsuki in with her lie of, what she's been doing. And then she's like, then let's just go kill. So, I feel like the way the final bubble was done, it's very vague. Let's go kill. It doesn't necessarily say, let's go kill Heisei Sasaki. It's like, let's just go kill. And as we do know, Mutsuki is fucking psychotic. She's been killing people, she's been eating people, killing animals and all sorts of things, storing them in jars. So, when she says, then let's go kill, you could possibly assume she's meaning join me in my lie, or join me in what I'm doing and help me go kill others. And maybe not just Heisei Sasaki, but everyone else. And that's what this message means here. And when you see this other one, like, why don't we go kill him together? This one means just they're gonna focus all their attention on Heisei Sasaki. So, like I said, very big difference with these translations, and I don't know which one is the proper one, but I understand both reasonings on both translations. Why Oro would want to kill Heisei Sasaki, and also the other one with why he would help her out, because he's probably scared for his fucking life with what he just saw. So when you look at both of these things right now, I don't know which one to believe. However, like I said, I'm inclined to believe this other translation because the vagueness of it really suits Tokyo Ghoul. But on top of that, though, it feels like she's not directing all of her anger towards Heisei Sasaki. She's directing her anger towards others, maybe someone like Toka. As we know with the last chapter we saw, like the chapter that triggered everyone, we know that she doesn't like Toka at all. Like, she scratched her out like a fucking yandere. There is a likely possibility that she's going to try to kill Toka very soon. Like, she's going to go out of her way to try to kill her. And then it's going to just complicate the issue of Mutsuki, of an organization, GOAT, and all of that. Something like that's going to happen. So, that's clearly what's happening here. I feel like when she says, then let's go kill Toka. Let's go kill the people in my way to get my, person I want, Heisei Sasaki. So yeah, that's my viewpoint on, these translations. So, right after that, we have more differences in translations, and this is between Uta and Donato. So, I'm going to read once again MS first, and then the other one. So, Uta's like, looks like I'm going to have to get another piercing. And when he says piercing, he also says, and you another finger. No. And then Donato's like, indeed. Makes you tremble a bit with excitement, doesn't it? And this is Uta saying that, FYI. Makes you tremble a bit with excitement, doesn't it? Being able to bear witness to the exact moment a person changes. So, let's just talk about this page and the next one, like the other translation, and then I'll dive into it. So this is what Uta says in the other one. Looks like I'm getting more piercings again. And for you, your finger? And then Donato's like, yeah. And then Uta's like, it makes me shudder to be able to witness the moment people change. So, once again, the meaning of these two are completely different. Like, there is something very different with the translation from the MS and then the other one. See, with the MS, Uta says, looks like I'm going to have to get another piercing, which means probably just one, while Donato needs another finger, because we know he made a clone of himself. But the other translation, Uta's like, looks like I'm getting more piercings again, which can mean he's getting multiple, and then Donato just needs another finger. And that is a very big difference right there, because I'm inclined to believe the MS translation on this one, because of what this actually is, and what the meaning of, looks like I'm going to have to get another piercing while he's talking to Donato about his finger. And, as I already said, I called it. Uta is alive. It's very obvious he was going to be alive, but also the detachable Kagane. Now, hear me out, okay? Let's look at this page real quick. Let's look at how Ishida has written his series thus far of Tokyo Ghoul. When he has dialogue, talking to a character or whatever, and he's talking about someone else with ability or something that's going on, obviously there's some hidden meaning there, or a message to the readers of the series that also this character has a secret too. And when he talks about how he's going to need another piercing, but then also Donato in the exact same, like, conversation, you're going to need another finger, like, right after that, I'm assuming Uta's piercings have something to do with that body we saw with Mutsuki. Now, as I already stated, there is a very likely possibility that that body was a detachable Kagane. I already said, there's just no way Uta would allow that. There's just no way. Now, the dialogue after this, it explains some of the motives of why Uta would allow that, but I'll get in that in due time. Still, with the way he talks about this, the way he mentions a piercing, but then he mentions Donato's finger, I'm assuming it has something to do with cloning, or, making himself into, like, a detachable Kagane. Or in this case, he was able to, like, do something with Donato, like, Donato made a clone, and he was able to change the face of the clone or something with his, abilities. Regardless of however it happened, though, If the fact stands that Uta did make a clone with a piercing, this confirms one thing. Number one, that means the piercings on Uta are in fact Kagane. They're not actually piercings. They're actually Kagane based. So all these piercings we see on Uta's body, which he has a shit ton of them. We've seen this man have a shit ton of piercings. If all of those piercings are extra detachable Kaganes, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. That's insane. That's fucking insane. The man's a monster. The man is a fucking monster. If just one piercing could do what Donato did with a finger, the man is probably above Donato. That means that Uta is a freaking monster. If every single piercing is a detachable Kagane, oh my god, this man is above Donato. The man is straight up above Donato, because as I already factored in, if each finger is a detachable Kagane for Donato, okay, that means he can make 10 clones with his fingers. But if you also factor in his toes or something, that would also make, 20. But then if he could use parts of his body as well, maybe, then that would mean that he could have a lot more. So that's factoring in a lot of different clones depending on how much of his body he wants to use in terms of RC cells. And if just a piercing, just a fucking piercing, okay, a fucking piercing that could be very small, was able to make a clone like that, and fight Suzuya, and fuck around with Suzuya. Like, the fucking clone, holy shit. The clone was fucking around with Suzuya, that was supposedly the next Arima, and just having fun. Just chilling and having fun. And then, eventually got to the point where it was just messing with Mutsuki. Oh my god. Oh my god. Uta's power right now is insane. If that is indeed what Ishida means here with this dialogue, looks like I'm going to have to get another piercing, and then Donato's going to have to get another finger. Uta's way above Donato, because if he can use a piercing as a clone, because remember, Kaganes, they can be structured into anything. We know this. It's already been confirmed if you're kind of curious about that. Kaganes can be restructured into anything, depending on the imagination of the user. If you've seen this, fucking making clones, making masks and shit, come on. So, making a piercing is not out of the realm of possibility, especially for someone like Uta that's fascinated by piercings and body modification. So, oh shit. If he can use his fingers as well, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Oh my god, the man's powerful. Okay, enough with that. Let's just talk about the actual meaning here with this, convo. So, pretty much, Uta and Donato have a convo, and it's like, it makes you tremble a bit with excitement, doesn't it? Being able to bear witness to the exact moment a person changes. And I've already talked about this, actually. A couple chapters ago, when Donato was fucking with, Urei, and then also Uta was messing with Mutsuki and Suzuya, I've already talked about this. Like, they're doing it for excitement. They're actually messing with them just to get off on it, or just to see how they change, just to get under their skin and mess with them. And that's what clearly is going on here. So, seeing this right now, it doesn't really surprise me at all. Just seeing Donato and Uta having this convo of how people change the moment they change, all that excitement you get. And in the next page, the conversation dives into it a little bit more. And this is what Uta says about the situation. The sort of switch that you can flip, but you don't know what it'll do. The feeling of flipping just such a switch. The feeling that in the very next moment, I myself might vanish. And then Donato ends the convo with, fills you with a sense of dread, doesn't it? And then Uta's like, I've always been the reprobate. I've always been someone that's kind of like a scoundrel, someone that is a villain or whatever, someone that, causes mischief. And pretty much what Uta's saying is he's always been the guy that wants to cause chaos. That's exactly what he is saying in this convo with Donato. And pretty much from this, we found out what Uta really craves, what he wants, what he is seeking from doing things like this. When he's like, that sort of switch that you can't flip, but you know what it'll do, the feeling of flipping such a switch just makes me have this feeling that the next moment myself might vanish. It's like he's on the edge. He's always on the fucking edge of excitement. He's like, oh my god, it's like just amazing. And because of this, That's what makes him tick, what makes him happy, whatever, what he wants to do. But also on top of that, it's kind of scary when you look at it from a different angle. He's willing to flip any switch on a person regardless of the outcome, which explains what happened here with Mitsuki. See, he's the one that forced Mitsuki to do what she did a couple chapters ago. They got everybody in an uproar and all that. He's the one that just made it to where Mitsuki finally just fucking broke down, went crazy, started having sex with Uta's, you know, detachable Kagane. And he flipped that switch. And we saw what happened when that switch was flipped. Stabbing, stab, stab on the fucking body. Entire face was just destroyed and all that. So, when he says, like, the next moment I myself might vanish, it's kind of saying, like, if his body would have been there, like his real body, he might have died if he would have let things go on and all that. That's what he's trying to say. He's like, if I would have been there, if that would have really have been me, okay, doing that, I would have probably died. I would have vanished. And that gave Uta this thrill inside of him. And he's like, that makes me excited. Excitement just to see someone change like that. And that's crazy. Like, the man is borderline insane just to see chaos. So, let's continue with the convo. And then this is kind of like his reasoning for it and all that. Why he's kind of like a villain or someone that likes to cause mischief and all that. And he's like, and that's why I want to stay in the thick of it. Because it's lonely on the edges of the chaos. So what he's pretty much stating is that I want to be the man that's in the direct center of all of it and cause so much shit. I want to be amongst all of this fire and burning going down. I want to be the one that just sees it all coming to the ground. I want to cause it. That's what Uta's pretty much saying. He's like, I don't want to be on the edge, watching from a safe distance, seeing what's happening. He's like, of course I can manipulate people, and I can do some crazy shit from the distance. Very similar to what Furuta's doing, actually. When you think about it, Uta and Furuta are very similar from what they've kind of been doing, but overall, Furuta does it in a way that's from a distance, while Uta does it up close and personal. Think about this chapter and the structure of it. Furuta's caused a lot of shit, all of this chaos going on in this arc, thanks to being from a distance, but manipulating people. While Uta, he's been in the thick of it, doing so much shit while they're on the scene, and then he's able to see it from a distance. And that's kind of what he's saying here. He's like, I'm the type of person that wants to cause all of this chaos and all that and have fun, while I'm around it, and I'm not safe as well. I want to be in that chaos to where I am on the edge of probably dying at any moment and just being able to disappear. That shit is crazy. Like, Uta is straight up insane. Like, he is psychotic. Like, he is psychotic, and the reason why he does it is because he is lonely. Damn. Damn, I did the character of Uta right now. Like, holy shit. The character of Uta, because he is lonely. Damn. And then, Uta talks to Danto, he's like, you're the same, aren't you? And then Danto's like, nah, I'm not as sentimental as you, my friend. And so, that is crazy. So pretty much he's saying, like, I'm not as sentimental to you to start chaos up close and personal like you are. I'm fine with it doing it on the sides, the edges and stuff, or not even doing it at all. And you see the actual panel when he says this, and you see just, you know, from a distance. You see the city, you know, actual city, top of the buildings and stuff from a distance, which shows, like, you know, on the edge. He's on the edge of the chaos. He's willing to just see it from a distance instead of being just in the middle of it. I love what Ishida did with these panels and how he was trying to explain what Uta was doing, but also what Furuta as a character has been doing as well. He's someone that causes a lot of chaos, but he does it, like I said, from the edge. And it's a very lonely edge, apparently. Look what Uta just said. It's lonely on the edges. Furuta's kind of alone when you think about it, so. Okay. Next page. Let's go into the next page. So this is some very fascinating stuff, FYI. Like, I really love the stuff going on with Uta right now and all that. So, the fight pretty much concludes. Everybody is pretty much kind of safe. Their clothes are in tatters. They're, you know, beat up and all that, sweating and shit. But overall, everybody's kind of fine. And Kaneki makes it back to the scene. He is there, and because of his arrival, and then, you know, the clowns, you know, being put to the ground and all that, a lot of them survive. Kaneki's presence, everything. Word spreads around the entirety of the world or whatever, or at least in Japan, to where the organization GOAT when they clashed and crossed blades with the clowns, they were fed up with the clowns. They didn't want the clowns to do what they were doing. They were putting a stop to it, and so it sent a clear message to everyone in the world, ghouls and humans alike, that, you know, the organization GOAT, they're trying to make a better path. They're trying to make a bridge for both species, and that's kind of what I've been saying since the very beginning of this arc. That's the whole point of it, and so the message got across to everyone in the public. But then on top of that, because of their presence, it sent a lot of CCG officials into, like, just a state of disarray. They, like, don't know what to do after what they witnessed. On top of killing innocent people that are being forced to fight for the clowns, but on top of that, these ghouls that are helping out, stopping what, you know, the clowns are doing, it really complicates the situation, and it's making it to where a lot of CCG officials don't really know what to do, but also the public as well. They don't know if they should defend the organization GOAT, or should they say, like, they're fucking terrible, they're evil villains and stuff because they're ghouls. You don't really know what to say. Now, the next point we need to discuss is Furuta's scene. So Furuta, as I've already said, because of what happened with Uta, this man has caused so much chaos. He's done so much shit in this arc that it's just absolutely insane. Like, some of the expressions this man has made when he's, like, said lol in his mind, when he's making everybody fight and all that, he's like, lol. I'm like, yo, this man is fucking crusty, like, he's heinous and all that. So after all of this, it seems like it's a relatively good success. You know, everybody's praising him, good plan, you know, we didn't suffer that much, the clowns were suppressed, just everybody that's in the office and all that, they're just smiling and they just start clapping and all that. Like, Rank 1 Furuta, you're a good man, you did a lot of good work and all that. You see sweat on his face, and as we know, Furuta, he is someone that is a good actor. We know this. We know for a fact. This man, you know, he's just putting on a show and all that. He's like, I owe my thanks to you all. He's like, I owe my thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, everyone. You just see how his hands are trembling. You see the lines, all that. He's shaking and all that while he's, you know, just happy. He's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. He's like, thank you so much. And, you know, he seems like he's very grateful and all that. Everybody's just clapping and they're happy and shit. You just see, you did well, Furuta! Clap, clap, clap. And then in the middle of this, while they're all clapping and his head is down, they can't see his face, it says from the narrator, which is Ishida, things were falling into place. Nimura Furuta's plans to obtain that which he desires were falling into place. Fucking face! That face is so good, dude. Like, the face is so good. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, this face of Furuta, it is just so fucking good. It is so good to see this man just, like, he's so fucked. It is so fucked. Like, look at this situation, okay? This man just shaking and all that. He's like, thank you so much and all that. He's just shaking, and you know why he's shaking. He's shaking because he's holding back his laughter. Like, this man is fucking shaking because he wants to laugh his ass off. I'm like, oh my god, like, that's a heinous human being right there, or heinous half ghoul. Like, this man is straight up fucking laughing. Like, he's shaking because he wants to laugh. He wants to laugh so bad, and you just see that smile on his face. Like, he's like, this is so good. He's like, I'm doing it. I'm just like, oh my god, like, fucking Furuta, like, you are something else. Like, as I said, I truly believe, like, Furuta is Ishida incarnate. Like, Ishida is a troll. Ishida's a really good fucking troll when it comes to certain things he does. And I truly believe some portions of Furuta's character is Ishida in terms of just trolling capabilities because of this right here. Just seeing this man, his eyes are just all happy and all that, and he's just smiling. Oh my god, like, that is just, that's perfect. That's just absolutely perfect. This man, everything is just setting into motion for what he wants and all that. And just that smile. That smile is just so devious. It fits so well with his character. Just like, oh my god, this man, he is the fucking Joker. Like, he loves this shit. He fucking enjoys seeing all of this shit going down. It gets him the fuck off. I'm like, yo, like, Furuta, you're already one of my favorite characters. Like, he is my favorite character besides Kaneki. Jesus, this shit is so good. It's so good. Oh yeah, so next page. So, for the most part, the remaining parts of the chapter is very simplistic. We have Akira, she's getting her treatment with the RC cell suppressants and all that. Pretty much everything ends on a good note and all that. She's pretty much fine. It's going to take a while for her to recover. It just, her body needs to recover now. She can't use, any treatment from ghouls or whatever. But for right now, she is pretty fine. She's in, safe, area to where she can recover and she will eventually be back up on her feet. So, Akira, she's safe right now. Pretty much, the Great Will Act, they start talking to Kaneki, saying, like, she has a good body and all that, maybe because she's, an investigator. And then they're like, we're on your side, we're behind you all the way, and the One-Eyed King, what you stand for, because of what you're doing here, you're doing a very good thing, and maybe one day society will see you like we see you, and, maybe it'll be a better place for ghouls and, humans alike. So pretty much, we're getting to see, once again, the Great Will Act showing that there can be coexistence between ghouls and humans, which we have seen through Kaneki and Almond and other characters, but once again, people that are not half ghouls, supporting the One-Eyed King. So that's kind of the message right there. On top of that, finally, once all of this is done, we have the fated combo. The combo that has needed to happen since Part 1 Tokyo Ghoul. And it's something that eventually had to have happened. It is something that has been building up for a very long time. Almond and Eye Patch. I'm gonna be honest. I'm very conflicted on what I want to use for my thumbnail for this video. Like, I really want to put Almond and Kaneki in the same thumbnail, just like looking at each other. Like, take these two panels here and put them together. But at the same time, I want to put Furuta like smile. Like, that smile is just godlike. That is a fucking godlike troll smile. So, I'm really conflicted on what I want to use as a thumbnail. I'm going to be honest here. So, I'll see what happens when I get there. But this is something that I truly am just so excited and something I want to see. This is like that moment in, like, a famous series. Like, let's just take, for instance, Naruto versus Sasuke. That is something many fans have been wanted to see for a very long time. And when it finally happened, people were just fangasming because that was built up for hundreds of chapters, okay? And the same could be said for Tokyo Ghoul. This meeting, them seeing eye to eye, being able to see each other for what they are, but not trying to kill each other for the first time, is something that's been building up for a very long time. It's kind of like the core of the series. It's kind of like both sides finally meeting each other on the bridge and finally having a conversation. Almond, Kaneki. They have both seen both sides of the bridge. They have walked past each other on the bridge, and then they're finally walking back towards each other. And they finally met each other on this bridge to be able to talk with each other. And I really love that emphasis there. I just love what Ishida did with this final page. I love that. Just seeing these two staring at each other. And then as their gazes meet, once again, both find that one of their eyes of the other holds a red resolve. That, gonna be honest, that's one of my most anticipated moments. This is one of my most anticipated moments of Tokyo Ghoul. Even over the entirety of the stuff with what was going on with Kaneki and his past and his resolve to, actually live for, something and all that and not die. I have been looking forward to this for so long. And I know I'm not, like, jumping for joy because my excitement has exceeded so far past that I don't know how to react. Because this is one of those moments as a fan of Tokyo Ghoul that I've just, oh my god, I wanted to see so bad. I wanted to see this so bad. And just seeing these two characters about to have a convo after so many chapters, I'm just so interested to see what they say. I'm just so interested to see Almond's side and what Kaneki says about Almond's side and what, Almond says about Kaneki's side and all that. I'm so fascinated to see where it's going to go. I truly hope, Ishida, next chapter, you do a full-on chapter just Almond and Kaneki talking. Sitting at a fucking table, just talking. I would love a chapter just like that. Please fucking give me that. Please give me that, Ishida. Give me a chapter with just these two characters sitting down and talking the entirety of the chapter. Just, please. I beg of you, please do that. Because I wanted to see this so bad. Like, please. Okay, so, the last thing I want to talk about, okay, and it's something I should have talked about earlier on in the video with the Matsuri stuff, but I forgot about it because I got into the video. But there is something I need to discuss, and that would be the fact that Matsuri, his death, okay? In all honesty, I'm kind of sad Matsuri died because he was such an important character. Like, he was... okay, I view it, I'm very conflicted with the death. And Matsuri's death, I felt like there was a lot more potential for him. I felt like Matsuri had more to play in terms of Tokyo Ghoul. His character had so much more it could do. But at the same time, though, I don't know if it's because Ishida hit a dead end with his character and he just didn't need the character anymore, because after the revelation with Urei and all that, and then also what we saw with what was going on with Furuta, I don't know if it's because Ishida hit a dead end with Matsuri and he just didn't know where to take the character, or if Matsuri really just wasn't that important, or maybe it serves a better purpose in the future, because, I mean, there is something that we need to factor in. If we think about the Washu clan, okay, not a lot has been shown about them. I mean, really, think about this, okay? There's a lot of secrets about the Washu clan we don't really know. I mean, we haven't even seen their Kagane. We haven't. We really haven't seen their Kagane. And for someone that's like the pinnacle of ghouls, or, you know, on top of all of the food chain and all that, because they control CCGV and all that, you would assume they would have a very powerful Kagane. They would be fucking insane. But we never got to see that. We never really got to see Kagane from them, a Kagane fight, which is relatively disappointing, but at the same time, I wonder if there's a message there that Ishida is trying to play, because we gotta factor this in. All of the Washus that were killed off-screen. They were all killed off-screen, or off-panel, so we didn't really get to see them. But on top of that, we never got to see their Kagane. So, I wonder if Ishida's trying to imply something with us not seeing their Kagane. Like, there's something about their Kagane that would be fucking insane. Who knows? But there is something that was relatively off about Matsuri in this fight. And as I said, it was very obvious when he was fighting after he cut up all those agents and stuff, he was breathing heavy. He was like breathing heavy, which shows that he was out of shape or something. And we know he's been, you know, doing control in the control room and stuff, been planning stuff. He hasn't had a lot of action. So I'm assuming that the reason why maybe Matsuri died in the first place was because he was out of shape. And maybe this is what happened to all of the Washu clan, and why they've died so far is because they're out of shape and they haven't been fighting and doing what normal ghouls would do, fighting for their survival. They've gotten fat sitting on top doing whatever they want, that they haven't really honed their skills and become strong. Matsuri is strong, don't get me wrong. The man proved his skill, but he let himself go because he hasn't been in that situation a lot. So I feel like maybe that's what that scene was trying to imply, why he was breathing heavy. Matsuri died because he was out of shape. Regardless, though, I feel like there's something going on here for Ishida not to dive into the Washu clan's Kagane and show us that at the very least. They have not showed us something that seems like would be very important for the plot of Tokyo Ghoul, because with Kagane manipulation, detachable Kaganes, all the shit going on in this arc, you would feel like the Washu clan's Kagane would be something very important to see or know, but we haven't seen it, so there's something off about that. I feel like that is something that's going to pop up eventually. Maybe with Furuta, he's going to reveal why or whatever, so we'll see. Regardless, though, it was a good chapter. Just, I really hope Matsuri's death didn't result in him just proving that Kaiko, you know, the V agent, is strong. I just hope that wasn't the main importance of his death. I hope there was more to, you know, Matsuri's death than that. Regardless, however, it was a good chapter. I love the chapter. I love the All-One Kaneki stuff, the Uta stuff, Danto, all that. Just a very solid chapter. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.